When my best friend's mom opened the door that night, neither of us expected the truth we were both running from. It's past midnight. The neighborhood is asleep, every porch light dark except hers. A soft drizzle paints the quiet street silver, raindrops tapping gently against the mailboxes and car roofs. The kind of night where every sound feels louder than it should. He stands there, 23 years old, shoulders rising and falling with nervous breaths. The porch light flickers above him, catching the tension in his jaw. His clothes are damp from walking in the rain. He didn't drive, didn't think. He just needed somewhere to go. Somewhere she was. His hand hovers before he finally knocks. Soft, hesitant, like he's already doubting his decision. His heart bangs louder than his knuckles do. Inside, there's a shuffle of footsteps. A lock slides. The door opens just enough for warm light to escape into the cold night. There she is, 43 years old, her robe tied loosely at the waist, hair a little messy from sleep, but somehow even more stunning because of it. She blinks in surprise, her voice caught between concern and confusion. "You? What are you doing here so late?" He tries to speak, but the words fail at first. All he sees is the way her hand grips the door, knuckles pale, startled, unsure whether to let him in or send him back into the rain. He finally manages. I didn't know where else to go." She studies him for a moment. His wet hair, trembling breath, the lost look in his eyes. Something softens in her expression. Worry replaces hesitation. Without a word, she steps back and opens the door wider. As he walks past her, their arms brush. Just a small accidental touch, but it sends a shock through both of them. He feels warmth, comfort. She feels something she hasn't felt in years. A spark that shouldn't be there. The door clicks shut behind them. Her living room is dim, the only light coming from a lamp by the couch, casting a gold glow on framed family photos, including one of him and her son smiling together. The weight of that reminder hangs silently between them. She folds her arms, not unkindly, just guarding herself. "Is everything okay? Did something happen?" He sighs, rubbing the back of his neck. "My parents, we had a fight. I just needed some air. And I ended up here." He doesn't say the rest, that he thought of her first, that being near her always made him feel understood in a way no one else did. She gestures toward the kitchen. "Come on, let's get you warm." As they walk together, the rain continues tapping against the windows like a persistent heartbeat. The house feels too quiet, the closeness too dangerous. She brews tea, the soft glow of the kettle's light illuminating her profile. He can't help watching, the delicate movements of her hands, the tired grace in her eyes. She is beautiful without trying to be. Real, human, strong, and more alone than she lets anyone notice. When she places the mug before him, their fingers brush again. This time, neither of them looks away. The night has just begun, and already something unspoken has found its voice. The kitchen feels like a different world from the storm outside. Quiet, warm, filled with the soft hum of the refrigerator. The kind of silence that invites honesty. He sits at the table, hands wrapped around the hot mug she gave him. The steam fogs the air between them, a thin veil that makes the moment feel strangely intimate. She leans against the counter, arms crossed loosely, watching him with a mix of maternal concern and something else, something careful and unspoken. The lamplight glows against her skin, tracing the line of her cheek, softening the exhaustion beneath her eyes. "You can tell me," she says gently, not demanding, not pushing, just offering herself as a place to land. He hesitates, swallowing hard. His voice is low when it finally comes. "Sometimes it feels like they don't even notice me, like I could disappear and no one would care." Her brows pinch with sympathy. She steps closer, pulling out the chair across from him, sitting so they're eye to eye. "I'm sorry," she murmurs. "You don't deserve to feel unseen." He lifts his gaze, surprised by how deeply she seems to care. She's not just listening. She's feeling it with him. He takes a slow sip of tea, letting the warmth steady him. "You were always different," he says quietly. When I came over as a kid, you treated me like I mattered. You still do. She looks down at the table for a beat. There's a faint blush on her cheeks, one she hopes he doesn't notice. But he does. He continues, voice thick with vulnerability. I know I shouldn't be here, showing up this late. But I didn't know who else would care enough to open the door for me. Her hand moves without thinking, reaching across the table to rest lightly over his, a gesture meant to comfort. But when their skin meets, a subtle charge jumps between them. She must feel it too, because her breath catches just slightly. The rain outside intensifies, droplets racing down the window like restless thoughts neither of them wants to speak. She pulls her hand back slowly, fingers trailing for a fraction longer than necessary. You matter, she says, the conviction in her voice stronger now. And not just to your parents, or to my son. Her eyes linger on his. You matter to me. That truth sits between them like a candle flame, small but bright enough to change the room. He smiles, but there's emotion in it, raw and unfiltered. I don't want to be a burden, he whispers. You're not, she answers immediately, instinctively, the kind of response that comes from the heart before the mind can question it. There is a pause, deep, heavy, electric. The closeness feels dangerous, but neither of them moves away. In that stillness, the realization grows. He didn't just come here seeking comfort, and she isn't just offering kindness out of obligation. There's something deeper forming, something they both feel, and both are terrified to name. The tea is gone by now. The storm still whispers against the windows, but inside the kitchen, the air is much louder, filled with unspoken thoughts and the unmistakable beat of hearts waking up to something new. She notices the way his clothes cling to him from the rain, the shiver in his shoulders he's been pretending not to have. She rises quietly and walks away for just a moment. He watches her go, surprised by the sudden emptiness of the room without her. When she returns, she's holding a soft towel. Here, she says, stepping close enough that he can feel her warmth. You'll get sick if you stay like this. She starts drying his hair, fingers threading gently through his damp strands. He closes his eyes for just a second, letting himself feel the care in every tiny movement. It's been a long time since anyone touched him with tenderness. But when she reaches his cheek, her hand pauses. Her fingers rest there, soft but intentional. Their eyes meet, and just like that, the kitchen feels smaller, closer, more dangerous. She pulls her hand away slowly, as if her body resists the decision. Sorry, she says, trying to laugh it off. Habit. Too many years of taking care of teenagers. I'm not a kid anymore, he replies, soft tone, but firm meaning. His words hang in the air, shifting the atmosphere again. She knows he's right. She's known for a while now. Her voice is quieter as she tries to deflect. You've always been kind with your words. But he shakes his head. No, he says. I'm being honest. She sits again across from him. But this time she's leaning in. Her elbows touch the table, chin resting on her hand. She studies him differently now. Not as her son's friend, but as a man sitting before her, brave enough to show his heart. You deserve someone who sees you, he says. Not someone who only remembers to appreciate you when they need something. She stares at him, stunned that he can read her so clearly. Because he's right, more right than anyone should be after just a few minutes of late-night conversation. Her marriage, her quiet loneliness, her strength always taken for granted. He reads all of it. She swallows, trying to steady the emotions rising unexpectedly fast. I don't know what you think you see, she murmurs. I see a woman who's been strong for everyone, except herself. The words hit deeper than he knows. She turns her face away, blinking back tears she refuses to shed. Years of swallowing disappointment have taught her not to show weakness, but he's unraveling that carefully built armor far too easily. Thank you, she whispers, voice trembling despite her effort to hide it. He reaches out without thinking, fingers brushing the back of her hand. This touch isn't accidental. She doesn't move, doesn't pull away. Something is changing, quietly, powerfully. and they both know it. The storm outside is nothing compared to the one waking inside their hearts. The kitchen clock ticks softly, marking seconds that feel anything but ordinary. The air has shifted, heavier now, pulsing with questions neither dared to ask before tonight. He watches her as she wipes away the single tear that managed to escape. She forces a smile, but it doesn't hide the hurt he saw, and it definitely doesn't hide the walls she's trying to rebuild. He leans forward slightly, voice low, steady. "Can I ask you something?" She meets his gaze with caution. "Depends on the question." His fingers tighten around the mug as if bracing himself. "Are you happy?" The question lands like a weight on her chest. Her lips part, but no sound comes out. She wasn't prepared for him to see her so clearly, to call out the truth she keeps buried. She tries answering lightly at first. "That's a complicated question." He doesn't look away. He doesn't laugh or shrug it off. "I can handle complicated." That sincerity, it disarms her. She exhales slowly, staring into the soft light above them. "I thought I was. Or maybe I just convinced myself it was enough." A pause, then quieter. "Lately, I feel like I'm disappearing in my own life." Her voice cracks at the end, just slightly, but enough to make him move. He shifts his chair closer, not touching her yet, but near enough that his warmth reaches her skin. "You shouldn't have to pretend," he says. She laughs under her breath, but there's no humor in it. "I'm too old for pretending, and too old to be sitting here pouring my heart out to someone your age." He gently shakes his head. "Age doesn't decide who understands us." Her eyes flick up to his, and for the first time, she lets herself see him. Really see him. The way he holds her gaze without fear. The strength in his posture even when he's hurting. The respect in every word. And it scares her. He inches closer, his knee brushing hers beneath the table. A small touch, yet it sets every nerve alight. She feels it. He feels it. Neither of them moves away. "You shouldn't be here," she whispers. But her voice betrays the truth. She wants him here. He answers just as softly. "But you didn't ask me to leave." Her breath stutters. The storm outside rattles the windows, a perfectly timed reminder of the chaos swirling around them. She looks down at their touching knees, as if the contact alone could rewrite their futures. "This is dangerous," she says. "So is being unhappy," he replies. Her heart pounds. Her mind races, but her body remains still, drawn toward him like something inevitable. There's a moment, suspended, fragile, electrified, where she considers crossing the line. Instead, she leans back, putting distance between them, but not enough to change what's already happening. "I need to think," she murmurs. He nods, but there's a quiet storm in his eyes too. "I'm not going anywhere," he promises, and she believes him, maybe a little too easily. A deep rumble of thunder rolls through the house, shaking the quiet moment they were trapped in. The kitchen light flickers before steadying again. Outside, the rain grows heavier, a sudden torrent slamming against the pavement, making escape impossible, even if either of them wanted to. She stands, needing space from the feelings creeping too close. Her robe sways as she moves toward the window, arms wrapping around herself, not from cold, but from the dangerous warmth building in her chest. He follows her with his eyes, watching the way she draws slow, steady breaths as if trying to calm a storm no one else can see. "You can stay, at least until the rain lets up," she says quietly, still staring out into the darkness. He rises from the table, taking a few cautious steps toward her. The kitchen lights cast long shadows, stretching, intertwining, almost as if even their silhouettes are drawn together. "I didn't come here to make things complicated," he says. She turns slightly, enough to meet his gaze. "But you did." His throat tightens as he nods. "I know." He's close now, close enough for her to feel the warmth radiating from him, close enough to see the sincerity in his eyes. He reaches up, just a little, and brushes a raindrop from her cheek that must have lingered from when she answered the door. Her breath catches. It is the softest touch, barely there, but it feels intimate in a way that terrifies them both. "You deserve better than feeling alone," he says, voice low, emotion threading every word. She wants to deny it. She wants to tell him he's wrong, that she has everything she needs. A husband, family, a life already laid out. But she can't. Because for the first time in years, someone is looking at her like she matters. Not as a wife, not as a mother, but as a woman. Her defenses wobble. Her eyes soften. Her heart aches. She closes her eyes briefly, gathering courage she doesn't feel. "This isn't right," she whispers. He steps closer, hands still gentle, still respectful, but unable to ignore the pull between them. "I'm not asking you for anything," he says, "except the truth." Her lips part, but no words come out. The truth is too big, too dangerous. Their faces are inches apart. The rain pounds on the roof like a warning. Her fingertip lifts, just enough to graze the line of his jaw. It's instinct, longing, memory of wants she buried long ago. For a moment, the world holds its breath. Then she steps back. Not far, but far enough. His heartbeat stumbles. She shakes her head, more at herself than at him. "You're too young," she says, "and you matter too much to my family." Her voice wavers, but her resolve is sharp. "We can't cross that line." He nods, swallowing the hope that had surged too fast. But then he says softly, earnestly, "I came here because you see me, and I want you to feel seen too." The storm rages on, outside and inside, and neither of them knows which one is more dangerous. She turns away first, not because she wants distance, but because she's terrified of what will happen if she looks at him 1 second longer. Her pulse is racing in a way she hasn't felt since, well, she can't even remember when. "Come on," she says softly, clearing her throat. "Let's get you settled." Her voice tries to sound composed, but he hears the tremor beneath it. She picks up the blanket from the hallway cabinet, her fingers brushing the soft fabric as if grounding herself in something normal, something safe. He follows slowly, not wanting to crowd her, yet unwilling to break whatever fragile connection still hangs between them. The living room feels even quieter than before. The lamp casts a warm circle of light over the couch, leaving the corners of the room wrapped in gentle shadow. He stands there, unsure whether to sit, unsure where the boundaries really are now. She spreads the blanket over the couch cushions, smoothing it with a careful hand. "You can sleep here," she says, but her eyes drift to his, and the words feel like they're holding so much more. "Stay close. Stay with me." He nods. "Thank you for everything tonight." She turns to leave. She should go. She should put as much space between them as she can. But she stops, fingers curling around the back of the couch. "Wait," she says. He looks up, hopeful. "Sit with me, just for a minute." So he does. The cushion dips as she sits beside him, closer than necessary. Their knees touch again, this time without accident. The contact is quiet and sure. They talk at first about small things. Work, plans, the funny stories he remembers from when he and her son were teenagers messing up her kitchen. She laughs softly, and the sound feels like sunlight on a rainy morning. As minutes pass, the conversation shifts. Deeper again. She opens up about dreams she gave up, about the woman she used to be, and the one she sometimes misses. He listens with his whole heart. Without thinking, his hand slides just a bit closer, then rests lightly over hers. Warm, steady, asking for nothing more than the chance to show he cares. She should move her hand. She knows that, but she doesn't. Instead, her thumb brushes his in a slow, absent motion, the kind that says trust and a hint of longing. He turns slightly, studying her, the way she keeps looking at his hand, like she's memorizing the feeling. "You make me feel," she begins, but the sentence trails off into silence. "Safe," he offers. She nods with a small smile. "Yes," and seen. Her head leans, ever so gently, against his shoulder. He freezes, not in fear, but awe. Carefully, he shifts so she's more comfortable, letting her settle into him like she belongs there. No confession, no kiss, just a closeness that says more than words ever could. After a long moment, she lifts her head, her eyes filled with something new, something dangerous and beautiful. "You should sleep," she whispers, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. He nods, though neither of them wants this moment to end. She stands, pausing in the doorway, giving him one last look that promises the night has changed everything. "Good night," she says, voice barely audible. "Good night," he replies, knowing rest won't come easily with her still on his mind. He wakes slowly, as if he's afraid reality will replace whatever he was just dreaming. The blanket she gave him is warm around his shoulders, and the early morning light is spilling through the curtains in soft gold strokes. For a moment, he doesn't remember where he is. Then he smells coffee. He sits up, running a hand through his hair, replaying everything, the storm, the closeness, the things they almost said. The couch feels empty without her beside him. He stands, blanket still draped over his shoulders like a shield, and walks toward the kitchen. His feet are quiet on the wooden floor. He stops in the doorway, unnoticed for a moment, and just observes. She's there, back turned to him, robe tied neatly now, hair brushed, trying desperately to look composed. Like a woman who didn't spend the night wrestling with feelings she tried to deny. She holds her mug with both hands, staring into the window at the soft drizzle that remains. He clears his throat gently. She turns, and the small smile she offers him is careful, but warm. "Morning," she says, voice still heavy with unsaid things. "Morning," he replies, stepping fully into the light. She gestures toward the counter where a second mug sits waiting. "I wasn't sure how you take it, so just milk." Something about that tiny consideration makes his chest tighten. He takes the cup, their fingers brushing again. A touch that has become familiar yet still electrifying. They sit at the same table where the night unraveled their truths. The silence isn't awkward. It's thoughtful, almost sacred. Each of them weighing what comes next. She's the first to speak. "About last night." He looks up, heart bracing itself. "I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable," she says softly. "I wasn't thinking clearly." "You were honest," he says. "So was I." She nods, but her eyes are still clouded. "You deserve someone who can give you something real. Someone your own age. Someone who won't complicate your life." He shakes his head. "You're real, and I've never felt more understood than I do with you." Her breath falters. A soft intake of air that betrays everything she's still trying to hide. "I don't know where this goes," she admits. "I don't even know if it should go anywhere. But we feel it," he says gently. "Both of us." Her fingers tighten around the mug. He reaches across the table once more, palm open, offering not pressure, but support. She hesitates, then places her hand in his. It's a quiet acceptance, a fragile promise. No declarations, no reckless decisions, just truth. "You brought something back into my life," she whispers. "Something I thought was gone forever. Hope." He stands and she rises with him. Their arms wrap around each other. Slow, careful, a hug that feels like a vow. She rests her cheek against his chest, closing her eyes, comforted by his warmth, his presence. When they part, it isn't a goodbye. He walks to the door, turning back to look at her one last time. There's a soft smile in her eyes, real and tremulous. "Be safe," she says. "I'll come by later," he replies, no hesitation. She doesn't argue. He steps outside, the morning air cool and clean around him. A new beginning waking with the sun. She watches from the doorway, hand lightly over her heart. Whatever happens next, they won't pretend the connection wasn't real. They will move forward carefully with respect but together. If this story pulled you into their quiet, late-night longing, if you felt every heartbeat, every hesitation, then don't forget to like this video so more people can experience it too. Subscribe for more age gap slow burn romance. Stories where love grows in the silences. Where a single touch can change everything. And where the heart sometimes finds home in the most unexpected person. Tap the bell notification bell so you never miss the next story. And tell me in the comments, Should they admit everything, or keep their promise and walk away? Your voice shapes the next romance we tell. Yellow Heart.